Mori here, and I'm going to do a reading from my brand new novel called Unconventional Lovers, very near and dear to me, and I'm going to actually read 3 different excerpts from the book. Here we go. Siera kicked a stone as she shuffled along the gravel path. With her head bent, she didn't see the other young woman sitting on the bench at first. The sun was shining bright, but her mood did not match the weather. She'd had a horrible day at Walmart. When the group of teenagers walked into the store and snickered as Siera greeted them, she knew that at least one of them would say something mean. Teenagers were especially cruel. High school hadn't been easy for her, but she'd flown under the radar for the most part and had finally graduated. It had been a long, lonely existence. I heard Walmart hires all the retards in town. It's stupid to have greeters, but I guess they figure hiring the handicapped makes them some kind of civic giant. I sure wouldn't want to greet people at Walmart all day long. How boring, a young woman said. Oh, that's Siera. I heard her mom made such a big fuss at the school and threatened to sue if they didn't allow her precious daughter to attend the regular classes. She never said much in class. It's sad, really. Her parents should have let her go to the special school where she could be with her, with her kind. Siera knew that most people assumed she wouldn't understand when someone was saying something derogatory about her, but she always knew. Her mom had to fight with the school to keep her in the regular classroom. It didn't matter that she'd proven she could do the work just like everyone else. Each year, the new teacher would take one look at her almond-shaped eyes and make the same assumption that every other teacher before them had. When Siera would answer the teachers during roll call, she would notice the slight head nod, indicating a verification of their assumptions. No matter how much speech therapy Siera had, there was still a slight slur to her words. Siera hated her thick tongue that she knew was the culprit. Her mother had patiently explained that low muscle tone was a big contributor. That was a frustrating fact that added to her dumpy appearance. Finally, in her last year of school, a guidance counselor who didn't have any preconceived notions about Siera's abilities had encouraged her to apply to Big Bend Community College. Siera loved Miss Moore for that. Besides her mom and aunt, Miss Moore was the first person who ever believed in her. Siera heard the honking of the geese and looked up to see a frantically waving hand. She turned her head, thinking that the young woman sitting on the bench was waving at someone behind her. She wasn't. Siera was alone on the gravel path along the lake. As Siera took a few tentative steps toward the young woman, she noticed her crooked smile and couldn't help the grin that seized her mouth and made her lips turn up in joy. The young woman looked like her, with almond-shaped eyes and small ears, just like Siera's. Siera hadn't been around others like her. Her mom had never acceded to the authorities when they'd wanted to relegate her to the special schools for children with Down syndrome. Siera knew she had Down syndrome. Her mother had explained everything to her when she was a young girl, but made sure Siera knew that she shouldn't let having Down syndrome define who she was or what she could accomplish in life. What her mom didn't realize was that mainstreaming, while helping to push Siera to reach her potential, had left her isolated and alone in a very scary world. "Hi," the young girl called out. "Hello," Siera tentatively responded. "Do you want to feed the geese?" Siera squinted her eyes and noticed the thick golden blonde hair pulled loosely in a ponytail. It was beautiful. She had an urge to touch the soft strands. Siera had always been a tactile child, wanting to touch everything soft and shiny. This young woman's hair glinted in the sunshine. "You have beautiful hair," Siera blurted out. Okay, here's scene number 2. The old-fashioned grandfather clock chimed loudly, indicating the top of the hour again. Kathleen frowned as she looked over at the clock that had been in her family for generations. She was amazed that it still worked, but at this moment, it was just another reminder that Siera wasn't home yet. Jeremy clasped his wife's hand. "Hon, it's only 10. You're the one who's always encouraging Siera to make more of an effort to get to know other kids. High school was not easy on her. I think it's wonderful that she's met a new friend who she has something in common with." Maybe I don't want her hanging out with other Downs kids and limiting her potential. Siera's going to college in the fall. She's special, Kathleen declared. Oh, for Christ's sakes, Kath, do you hear yourself? You're the one who's always blasting anyone for having preconceived notions about Siera. You haven't even met the girl, and already you're judging her in the same way that everyone judges Siera. Oh, God, Jeremy, you're right. I can't believe I just said that. Olivia seemed nice and very protective of Bri. I'm sure they were just delayed a little bit. Jeremy chuckled. You're acting like Siera's on her first date and you don't trust the young man. Bri's a friend, and it's about time that Siera had someone to hang out with. I'm glad she met this young woman, and I hope they continue to develop a friendship. It's good for Siera to be around other kids. You mean other kids with Down syndrome? It's not like she can catch it from them, Jeremy quipped. That's not funny. Crap, I'm doing it again, aren't I? Kathleen sighed. Jeremy nodded. You told me that Bri works in her aunt's vet clinic. I'll bet she has no problem keeping up with Siera. Her aunt did say that Bri was advanced and relatively self-sufficient. She seemed to have a lot of pride about her niece's abilities. Geez, hon, what did you do? Interrogate her? Jeremy asked. No, I did not interrogate her. We just had a polite conversation, and she was very open about herself and Bri. I think she understood my need to be protective. She wasn't at all offended, Kathleen defended. Okay, number 3, excerpt. Olivia had propped herself up in her bed to read a little bit before falling asleep. When her smartphone buzzed on the side table, she picked up the phone and smiled when she read the text. Hey, Miss Sex Therapist, any more questions from your niece tonight? Ha ha ha, you could have stepped in to help. Oh no, you were doing a bang-up job. Why would I want to interject and ruin your perfect answers? You're evil. I had fun today. When are we going to take the new bikes out for their maiden journey? Do you work the next weekend? I do, frowning. I suppose I could do a short ride midweek. How does Wednesday sound? Good. Can we leave from the clinic? Sure, I'll meet you there at 5:30, 6. I'll close early. How about 5? Perfect. Sweet dreams. Can I pick your brain about kissing techniques on Wednesday? I might learn something. Stop flirting and go to sleep. Good night, beautiful. Good night. Olivia was smiling as she placed the phone back on her nightstand. A little innocent flirtation wouldn't hurt, would it? She set the tablet next to her phone and slid down into her soft bed. Damn, that woman is almost irresistible. That was her last thought as she drifted off into sleep and dreamed about riding around the lake with Deb. Okay, that's it from Unconventional Lovers. Thank you for listening.